finding when and above the thing. So we're going to be excited. I am walk with so we are here today to launch the picture of the financial reporting program. Yes, as it is for the support of our partners, sponsors, and the participants from the media. We have been able to reach. So I'm going to quickly run through the program. So in, I believe it's one of us. So we're going to begin with some prayer from Carol. That's Linda. Then we do this introduction. We have welcome remarks. The director John that the RCKE, that's Linda. Then we invite the chair of the fireworks committee to tell us what we have in store for us here. Then we go into the partner remarks. We begin with the Capital Markets Authority and the corporate exchange. Then, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special category of people with us this morning. These are representatives of the organizations that have participated for a while now.
Okay. Sorry, I've been told I wasn't being heard online. I hope it's better now. Yes, so as I was saying, we have a very special group of people amongst us, and these are participants. So we thought, we speak a lot about financial reporting, but we wanted you to hear from the horses' mouths regarding their experience and the impact of the awards to their organizations. So ladies and gentlemen, this morning we have representatives from UAP Old Mutual Insurance and Stanbic Uganda Holdings. They'll be sharing their testimonies. And then finally, we will officially unveil the theme, and then we will close. We will have a media interactive session, and finally, there is tea for all of us. Please do not leave without a cup of tea. So at this moment, ladies and gentlemen, it's our custom at the Institute to commit all our events to the Lord in prayer. And I'm going to invite Carol, but as Carol comes, I just want to share something small. It's June and it's Mental Health Awareness Month. And because of some recent events, there's been a lot of awareness around mental health. And so many people have given solutions. They've said, speak to someone, get professional help, take a break if you need to, travel if you can afford. Ladies and gentlemen, all those things are excellent. They will help, they will give you relief, but by all means, do not forget to run to the Father. If you do not feel well, please pray. Prayer is a powerful weapon. The Bible says in Philippians 4:7 that He can give you the peace that passes understanding. So please do not forget to run to the Lord if you don't feel well. Carol.
Thank you, Nancy. Good morning, everyone. I'm requesting all of you to kindly stand up so we can honor the Lord. God, our loving Father, we thank you for the gift of life. Lord, we thank you for today. We thank you for you have enabled all of us to travel from near and far to come and gather here today. Lord, we place the day into your hands. We ask for your guidance. We call upon you to send us your Holy Spirit to enlighten us as we unveil the theme of the Fire Awards. And we also pray for all the sponsors, the partners that we are working with. Lord, may you bless them with all they need. We pray for the media that are here today. Lord, bless them as they inform the public about the Fire Awards. We pray for all the deliberations today. May they honor your name. In Jesus' name we've prayed.
Thank you so much, Carol. We now believe that we are in safe hands because the presence of the Lord is in this room. So, ladies and gentlemen, if we look at the program, we are now heading towards introductions. I'm going to introduce the team on my right, and I will begin with CPA Augustine Tamale. He's the Chief Finance Officer for Vision Group. Vision Group is the official media partner for the Financial Reporting Awards for 14 years. They've not just come on board. Let's appreciate him, please. Next, we have Mr. Peter Victor Kwagala. Mr. Kwagala is the Business Development Manager at the Uganda Securities Exchange. Also 14 years we've been with USE. You're welcome, Mr. Kwagala. And next we have Miss Lynn Tukey. Lynn is the Communications and PR Manager at the Capital Markets Authority. It's so nice to see you, Lynn. You're very welcome. And yes, CMA has also been with us for 14 years. Thank you very much. And then next we have someone who almost needs no introduction. He's been with us for a while. CPA Stephen Inegate is the chairperson of the Financial Reporting Awards Committee of ICPAU. You're welcome. And then next we have Director Standards at ICPAU, CPA Charles Lutimba. So you'll be hearing from each of the panelists in a short while. And we also have the special group of people that I was talking about. We have a representative from State Bank, Miss Sophie Achak. Sophie is the manager, Investor Relations and Strategic Projects at Stanbic Uganda Holdings. You're welcome, Sophie. We also have Miss Winnie Viola Nasimba, Chief Accountant at UAP Old Mutual. You're welcome. On this other side, the panelists, it's also important for you to know who we're interacting with today. We have representatives from various media houses. I've seen Sanyu FM, you can just wave. I've seen Smart 24. We have KFM. We have a team from Nation Media. We have BBS. Thank God for branding. I can see you clearly. We have UBC TV. I don't know if they're here yet, but we have UBC Radio as well. We have Soft Power. I think the rest are there. We're also expecting NBS TV, Bukede Radio 1, CBS, Capital, Namirembe, Power FM, Voice of Africa, Sapienza, and of course, Vision Group is here, I believe, already. And the Independent Uganda Radio Network. Oh, yes, a representative from Capital. Fiona, you're welcome. And then Nile Post as well. So now that we're done with introductions, we can move on to the next item on the agenda. I'm going to invite CPA Charles Lutimba to share with us, to give you a little welcome, tell you a little bit about the Institute, and just welcome you to this event. Charles.
Thank you so much, Nancy. A very good morning to all of us. Those of us who are present here, those of us who are following online, we are very glad to have you. Our chair, CPA Stephen Inegate, country lead of KPMG, we are happy to have you here. Our partners, my senior colleague, CPA Augustine, we are happy we've traveled this journey all together with the Vision Group. My brother Victor from USE, we are happy with the partnership. And my sister here, Lynn, we're indeed very grateful with the contributions that CMA has made to the FIRE Awards for this journey so far. Our participants, we shall not forget you. I know there are a couple of you that are following us online. Here we simply picked out a few representatives from Stanbic Bank and UAP. We've traveled the journey. These are a part of the perpetual participants. Started with us in 2011. We've been having interactions all over by way of feedback exchanges, and we're really very, very happy to have you all that have taken that zeal to take part in the Financial Reporting Awards. The fourth estate, we shall not forget you. We are happy you're here. We are happy with what you relay out there about the FIRE Awards. That, in one word or the other, helps us to really disseminate the information and the purpose of the Financial Reporting Awards. Ladies and gentlemen, I take the honor to welcome all of you to this FIRE Awards launch 2024. It's a custom within the FIRE Awards arena, within the FIRE Awards calendar, that the process starts with a launch that is ideally intended to alert the public, to alert all those corporate entities that wish to take part in that year's award, to prepare their reports, to finalize with whatever they are doing, and then set off with the submissions. The chair will be taking us through when the deadlines are, when we started receiving the reports. I will not really get into that. Ladies and gentlemen, we are celebrating our 13th, 14th year of the Financial Reporting Awards, having started way back in 2011. You will notice that the journey has really been a very, very deliberate journey. In our very first awards, we started off with the theme, moving Uganda forward. And really the intention was using the awards to see that the economy, to see that our country steps forward. Over the years, we've had evolutions in the themes. But one thing you will notice is that we have purposely addressed the issue of ESG, environmental, social, and governance reporting. Call it integrated reporting, is an issue that has been on the heart of our several themes. Those of you who have been very observant, you will notice that the past 6 years, our themes have been running around ESG. We thought that probably this year we needed to change the theme and run away from ESG and address something else. But we said that would be poor timing, given the fact that you had that global launch of what we call the sustainability standards, the S1, S2 standards. Very soon, the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda will be making a pronouncement on the direction that this particular jurisdiction is expected to take in as far as the sustainability standards are concerned. With that, we thought that it was important to accentuate the purpose and then importance of ESG. And that is the reason as to why we thought of promoting excellence in corporate reporting, disclosing ESG performance and progress. The purpose really around the theme is to see how have you progressed, how are you performing as far as matters of E, the environment, are concerned, as far as matters of S, social, are concerned, as far as matters of G, governance, is concerned. As the Institute, I wish to report that we are really very, very happy, especially with those entities that have been participating in these awards. Incidentally, you will notice that when you participate, you get a feedback report. Those of you who have been participating, you notice, while we call the awards Financial Reporting Awards, the assessment all criteria goes beyond financial. We don't only look at compliance with standards, financial reporting standards. We look at your disclosures around governance, the board's risk management, board committees, and what have you, strategy, and those aspects. That kind of disclosure automatically helps us address the element of the G in ESG. Then environment, we look out aspects of environment, and then S, we look out for aspects of S, of society, and your social dealings. Not forgetting automatically the communication bit. The communication bit within our criteria was intended to really give purpose to the reports. You will notice that different stakeholders look at these reports for different things. There are those of us who look at your reports and we're simply interested in seeing maybe, let's say, how the quality of your pictures, your alignment, your grammar, and such aspects. And it's the reason as to why within our criteria, we embedded that communication bit. Because even when you do a lot, but you fail to communicate, you are likely not to have the agenda sent out to the intended audience. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I once again thank those that are participating. We are comfortable that once a pronouncement is made on the direction as far as sustainability reporting is concerned, there are entities we are comfortable. I will not mention names, but there are entities we are comfortable are really already doing a very good job. And we simply pray and ask that you continue taking part in the awards. I take the honor to welcome all of you to this launch and wish you the best of your stay here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Charles. Thank you. Thank you so much, Charles. That was CPA Charles Lutimba. In case you're just joining us online, ladies and gentlemen, we have an online audience. We're also streaming on YouTube. So for those online, if you're just joining us, you heard from the Director Standards ICPAU. Ladies and gentlemen, I made a mistake. I forgot something when I was making the introduction. We have a very important category of people in the room. I'm sorry, I forgot to introduce them earlier. The communications team, you know, these are the people who do the work. They're the ones who do the running around to put these events together. Would you please stand? Jackie, Joan, Caro, that's Joan Abasa, Communications Officer. We have Caro Nasuna, Communications Officer, and Jacqueline Nabiri. I believe you have all interacted with Jackie in the last few days. She's the one who's been doing the running around and the coordination. We also have the standards team, the ones who work with Charles, the ones who do the part of the fireworks team. So we have Lydia, CPA Lydia Nankabira. Lydia, if you could stand. We have CPA Elizabeth Kaheru. I think I've introduced all of them. Now we can proceed. And now I'm going to invite our chairman, CPA Stephen Ineget, to share with us. I believe you have been wondering, as Charles said, we have had ESG for, this is the third year. We have the same theme. There must be a reason. And CPA Ineget is going to touch on that and tell us a little bit more about what we can expect from the fireworks this year. Before he comes, just a brief introduction. CPA Stephen Ineget is the chairman of the Financial Reporting Awards Committee. He's also the country leader for KPMG Uganda, and he's part of the immediate past council. I don't know if that's correct English, but yes, he was on the previous council of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda, and he has been the chairman of the Financial Reporting Awards Committee since 2018. It's an honor.
So nice, so challenging. I've continuously offered myself for renewal. And as the president said, vision bearers don't just quit like that. So we want to see improvement in financial reporting in our country. We want to reach to a level where the readers of financial information in its entirety benefit and understand and make key investment decisions out of understanding of these reports. So on behalf of the organizers, that's the Financial Reporting Awards Committee, together with our co-organizers, the Vision Group, Capital Markets Authority, Uganda Security Exchange, we welcome you all to our 14th edition as we launch 2024 Fire Awards. In the church, I normally say, hallelujah. Fire Awards. Can we repeat? Fire 2024. So welcome. Just a little bit about these awards. As Nance mentioned that we commenced this journey in 2011 with one objective: for members to understand that these awards are of excellence in terms of the quality of financial and business reporting. So our ultimate objective is to review this communication in terms of financial and business reporting and say which ones are excellent. They are excellent if they have been prepared in accordance with international financial reporting standards, other standards like public sector accounting standards, other frameworks like accounting policies adopted by organizations like NGOs. They could be on a cash basis, accrual basis, modified cash accrual, and such things. So we want to review them and give an independent look and say, you have done an excellent work. So that's why we started this journey. And we want to make sure that at any one time, if anybody picked a financial report prepared in Uganda in accordance with those standards and picked another in the United States of America, which have been prepared on the same basis, those reports should mirror. They should know that we have accountants, experts in Uganda as well. So that is why we started this journey in 2011 and still going on. And I want to thank you, the media, for responding to our invitation and for being partners with us in terms of, one, amplifying this information to companies to participate in financial reporting awards. Last year, we had about 100 participants. Thank you to you because you publicize. And again, seeing you today in great numbers confirms your commitment to support transparent and accountable reporting in our country. So can we just give a round of applause to yourselves? And to those online, we do acknowledge and recognize you. Thank you for the role you play in promoting financial reporting awards. In terms of the organizers, of course, it's led by the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda in partnership with Capital Markets Authority, fully represented here, Uganda Security Exchange, and the Vision Group. This year, we're delighted to announce that Uganda National Oil Company has discovered the secret and they have joined part of the organizers, and they will be supporting and walking the journey with us. We encourage many other companies, especially government-owned, to join the Institute with the co-founding partners in promoting this excellent financial and integrated reporting. Just briefly, in terms of objectives, what are we seeking to achieve? One, to encourage effective communication of financial and business information. And that's normally you do so in an annual report. Within that report, you have an opportunity to have the directors report the chairman's report, the vision and the mission and objectives of the company, how you assess them, how you measure your performance. You also have an opportunity to tell us how historically you've been doing. Before then, you move into the section of the current year financial information together with the comparatives and the relevant disclosures. So there is a lot there. We have talked about the issues of ESG. What is it in simple terms? Beyond the definition, it's a framework that focuses on three things. The people. Are people okay? Are they able to live in an environment that's conducive? That environment is what we're calling the planet. Whatever you do as a company, bear in mind that you preserve the planet. If you annoy the planet, it will mistreat you. You have seen the hurricanes in the US. You have seen snow that brings the whole state into a standstill. You have seen, flooding. Recently we had in Kenya. It means the planet is not happy. Of course, there is capital markets, the profit. Those who have put money for investment will also make sure they get a decent return in a responsible way. So once we balance the people, the business people, in terms of their profit, balance the planet, then ESG is okay, is happy. That's what it's all about. So that's very important. We also want to, our focus, one of the key objectives is to see best practices. Beyond the norm, what else do you have? And when we are looking at these reports, we are saying what is new? What is good for me is good for you. We also want to institutionalize transparency, integrity, and accountability in corporate reporting. How accountable are you to the stakeholders, especially to the people? You're a mining company. You're benefiting from a natural resource, but there are communities around you. What are you doing about them? Do you have any scholarships? Do you manage the noise of extraction of the natural resource? What are you doing? So we look at such things. Of course, promote good financial reporting in terms of how you raise, with a view of helping you raise funds in capital markets. We have a team here. Encourage our small and medium-sized companies. These are key for the growth of our economy in Uganda. So SMEs, by helping them prepare financials which are compliant, then they are easily attractive to the investors. I'm taking a bit of time so that we understand why we are doing this year in, year out. Until we see improvement in these objectives, then we may then change. But without a significant improvement, we'll continue to pursue based on these core objectives. Of course, create public awareness in terms of the performance of companies and how you understand the performance of those companies. So it's important. So the theme of this year, Charles has already alluded to it, that we had wanted to move out of ESG, but we noticed that people are so critical. The affairs of people. When you're looking at the social pillar, there are so many things to do with fairness, equity, are critical. Gender issues. When you're talking about religious, don't judge people based on what they believe in. Work with them and get the best out of them. So this year, our theme is promoting excellence in corporate reporting, disclosing ESG performance and progress. So we want to see, for the last 3 years, we have been talking about ESG. We want to see how have you performed on ESG and to what extent have you progressed and how much information on this are you disclosing. So that's important, and we'll be focusing on that. So given the recent developments in sustainability reporting, notably, of course, the introduction of the Global Sustainability Reporting Standards, ICPAU is committed, as Charles mentioned, in making sure that we streamline sustainability reporting in our country and ensure that the reports which will be coming are in line with these new guidelines. So like I mentioned, we're on ESG for the last 3 years because of the importance it has. So this year, the intention is to give a chance to all organizations to demonstrate how far they have progressed in terms of implementing the feedback which we have been giving from the Fireworks evaluators regarding ESG, especially in reference to the Global Sustainability Accounting Standards, that's S1 and S2. So what do we look out for? Okay, we want to see that your financial reports provide a balanced and reasonable picture of the organization's economic environment, environment and social performance. We want to make sure that's balanced. Facilitate comparability, benchmarking, and assessment of performance, and also address issues of concern to stakeholders. Right now, we're having issues of either rain leading to floods or drought. So there is a concern of moving to green. How do we carry out irrigation in our country? To what extent are companies privately owned supporting such initiatives which impact on people? The categories of the awards not any different from last year, that will be focusing on Award of Excellence in Financial Reporting, Award of Excellence in Corporate Governance, again, the manner in which companies are run from the head, that's the directors, all the way to other support structures. You remember the saying that a fish rots from the head, but we can also say the future of the fish depends on what is in its head. If the head is rotten, then that fish is likely to be caught and eaten. So it's important. Again, sustainability reporting, we shall be focusing on that, and then the presentation and communication. How easily your reports one can read and understand them. We also have special awards, and for example, the most improved, we had this, the best listed entity, and then the integrated report of the year, which is what I would call the best report. Who can participate as you interact with the members of the public? It's important to note that we are open to all companies, entities, organizations, agencies, ministries, municipalities, name them. We will be able to fit them into specific categories. So public sector entities, name them. Local governments, get your sub-counties to participate, speak to them. Not-for-profit organizations, and then of course, private sector. This is where we normally get the big number coming in: consumer and industrial market, manufacturing, entertainment, education, health, regulatory bodies, and all of those. How to participate in the award? Of course, this is the end process, but it begins with a company having a clear objective of publishing the annual report. So there is that whole process of preparation of the annual reports. Then all then you do is to come and participate. It's free of charge. All you need to do is to get your annual report, the most recent one, 1 year ago, with a focus now to 31st December 2023. Also for junior ends June 2024. If you finish the audit process early, then you should be able to participate up to June, thereabout. So you should be able to participate. So this annual report which contains full audited financial statements and all other statements that you normally publish, all put together, whether in soft copy or hard copy, sent to the. We're opening our doors on 1st June. Sorry, 1st June, yeah. So which means if your account year end is June, you may not be able to participate because we're opening the door on 1st June. So if you're ending 15th May and you turn around your audit, then that report can qualify as well. So 1st June 2024, our doors are open to receive these reports. Just to be clear on that to participants, and the doors will close on 30th September 2024. Submissions can be made online. You go to www.icpau.co.ug. If you want to go more specific, stroke fire awards, you'll be able to see. In case you're not clear, you can pick this email from any of the communication team members. We normally require about 3 copies for those sending physical copies. Send us 3 copies of your annual report. Of course, there are benefits to participants. And just to recap on those benefits. One, you get, of course, a chance for us to benchmark your report to compare with others and give you feedback. This is how you compare. Human beings like comparison. How am I dressed today? Are you looking good? But he's asking in comparison to somebody else. So we just want to fulfill that natural need in people that we compare. Of course, during our gala dinner, we recognize you. Again, people need to be appreciated. Companies need to be appreciated. You know, if I tell Tukey here that, oh, you're smart, you're beautiful, I trust the day will go well because we need to be appreciated. Even me, by the way. Yeah. As long as you're a human being. Even Jesus Christ, when he healed the 10, one came back to him and said, Lord, thank you. He was so touched. He said, oh, only you, only 1 out of 10. So we need to appreciate and encourage. So that's the other benefit. So you get recognized. Of course, I talked about receiving expert feedback. But most importantly, once people know that your accounts have been reviewed by the Institute, then the level of trust goes over the roof. When you go to Stanbic and your accounts participate in the fire awards and you implemented the feedback and you want a facility from them, the analysts will quickly look at them and say, the ratios look good. Please proceed the loan application for further approvals. Because they know you are out in the public. So when we look at the impact of these awards over the last 13 years, we can say over 1,000 of companies have participated since inception, which is very, very good. And we have seen improvement in the nature and extent of corporate disclosures. So companies are now giving more information on the strategic direction, on environmental, on social, on governance issues, how they measure them. You can even pick accounts of a bank and you see which director did not attend all the meetings. If you pick the accounts of the Institute, you can see all the council members, you know who missed which meeting, and you're able to call them and say, you offered it to serve, why are you missing board meetings? So that's the transparency. Of course, the Institute ones, if you see all of them 100% because they are committed. Improved corporate reporting, we have seen that, especially in the category of SMEs. We have seen better disclosures, especially among public sector. You have had issues of corruption and budget utilization, and the more they participate, the better for our country. Of course, confidence has gone up and companies' records are now trusted. And of course, publicity continues to improve. I looked at some of the feedback quotations from some of the participants, and there is one by Postbank, basically all saying it is a great experience. We have seen the bank moving in the right direction. The quality of reporting is exciting. So a number of companies have come back to us to say, keep this going. We want to continue participating because of the benefit, because of the recognition, because of the global recognition they are getting. So they want to be part. So again, important dates now, 1st June, the doors are open and they close on 30th September. Then we shall do the fireworks ceremony on 6th of November, 2024. The venue will be announced. Otherwise, on behalf of the fireworks committee, I want to thank you for honoring our invitation. Thank you for bearing with me. It was a bit a long one. I needed to emphasize because as it becomes mature, people take it for granted. So thank you very much. Go in your field and pass this message clearly to participants that we are inviting all organizations, all companies to participate in the 2024 Fire Awards. Thank you and God bless you all.
God bless you too. Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. Ladies and gentlemen, if you do not take anything away from the chairman's remarks, take this one thing. Participation in the Fire Awards is for everyone. Every organization that produces an annual report. If you produce an annual report, you're welcome to submit an entry, and participation is free. You do not pay any coin. Just get your annual report, submit it online, or deliver physical copies to the Institute's office. So moving on with our program, I am going to invite the representative from the Capital Markets Authority, Ms. Lynn Tukey. She's going to share a few remarks with us. You know, yesterday I was perusing through the dailies and I saw an advert, an interesting advert for how SMEs can raise, options for SMEs to raise funds through the capital markets. And SMEs really struggle with funding. So when you see an advert like that and you're on SME, my mic, okay, you get excited. I think there's something wrong with this mic. You get excited, but as Lynn will tell us, there are some requirements you have to meet, right? Yes, and that is why we talk about financial reporting and why your reports must comply with international standards. So Lynn, would you please tell us just a little bit more about that? Thank you.
All right, thank you, Nancy. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the Volksstadt, distinguished guests, good morning to you all. So my name is Lynn Tukey. I'm the Manager of Public Relations at the Capital Markets Authority. It is my honor to represent the Capital Markets Authority, the CMA, as we announce the 14th edition of the Financial Reporting Awards. This prestigious event is a collaborative effort, as you've heard, by ourselves, the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda, the Uganda Securities Exchange, and Vision Group, who are represented here. And all we're trying to do really is celebrate the excellence in financial reporting within our nation. But why do we do this? I mean, the theme itself speaks volumes, and we have heard it's about promoting excellence in corporate reporting, disclosing ESG performance and progress. Now, let us just take a step back and think, and also recognize that in today's world, which is full of interconnectivity, we are looking at investors, stakeholders, and the public who are increasingly interested in how organizations contribute to a sustainable future. That works hand in hand. And how are they actually holding or upholding ethical governance? It's very critical. And by reporting on ESG, companies are not just disclosing data, they are narrating their commitment to making a positive impact on society and the environment. I mean, you have had how are you a factory and for example, you are distilling dirty water and you're not recycling it. That's already showing that you have no responsibility whatsoever to your community that you live in. And so there is no goodwill that you generate amongst the public, but even the stakeholders. And so financial reporting plays a crucial role in the capital markets as investors are guided by the strategic direction of your company and to see if it aligns with their own strategic direction, because we all have visions. And that also helps create visibility and goodwill. I mean, if it's let's say factory B, on the other hand, is actually using recycled water. The same water, let's say they're flushing in their toilets, is actually being recycled and filtered and it's being drunk again, or it's actually put into good use. That is a company that is going to get more goodwill than the other counterpart who is doing the opposite. So you see how this also ties into investors making informed decisions that align with their own practices, which in the long run helps with liquidity within the market and the stock exchange at large, as we shall hear more. And so as the CMA, we encourage businesses looking to raise capital to have transparent financial reporting in order to attract potential investors. And we have seen the numbers actually are making sense. I mean, the total capital that has been raised in equity at the end of the last year was about 2.4 trillion Uganda shillings. And then we have also seen the total debt that has been raised in corporate bond issuing at 288 billion Uganda shillings. That is some good amount of money. And according to the data that we have collected from East Africa Private Equity and Venture Capital Association, that's IAVCA, and then the I&M Babich Capital, the financial year 2022-23 actually saw a significant improvement in the private capital activity in Uganda. We see both the total value and the total number of deals increasing. So this goes to show you how companies are actually making it a big deal to be able to collect a lot of capital from all these ventures. And the total deal, for example, of the PE and VC funds grew by an impressive 330%, reaching 221 million US dollars, up from 51 million. So you can see that the numbers do not lie, and especially if you're a company looking to raise capital. I mean, you can see our banner right there. There are many ways you can raise capital. There is initial public offering of shares, corporate bonds. All these are there and they're available. But how do you actually stand out from the rest? So that is why we are actually emphasizing the whole importance of ESG. So as we gather to celebrate outstanding financial reporting, we also recognize that the accountants actually play a vital role. And that is why this partnership is very invaluable for us as the CMA, because what they're actually doing is they're playing a role of safeguarding the integrity of financial and investment decisions. And we believe that accountants are essential allies in promoting proper financial reporting practices. So they are the storytellers behind these reports. So without an accountant in your organization, you're actually not doing the company justice. So companies should be able to embrace these accountants who are dedicated professionals and ensuring that the numbers tell a meaningful and transparent story about the organizations. So their work not only enhances trust, but also plays a crucial role in shaping public perception. So this also helps empower businesses, especially those seeking to tap into the capital markets for investment, more effectively facilitating their growth and success. So as we look forward to the FIRE Awards, and I like the name FIRE because it's really fire, you know, FIRE reporting, financial reporting. We're saying the ceremony, which will on 6th November 2024, we as a CMA are very proud to be one of the partners alongside ICPAU, Vision Group, and USE. And so we are more than honored to have all of you on that day. Thank you.
Dean, we are equally proud to have you on board as partners. Yeah, so I think some of those things that organizations do in line with gender parity are very important if they are to realize ESG goals. So if you could speak briefly about, the S especially. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you very much. Morning, ladies and gentlemen. All protocol observed, members of the Fourth Estate. Thank you very much, Jacqueline, for preempting that question on the social, but I'll touch a bit broadly about the ESG. But before I do that, I also would like to appreciate the ICPAU and all sponsors for the FIRE Awards for their continual support of such a very fundamental principle for our economy. As the USE, we also commit to support this initiative because we're one of the key beneficiaries of enhanced corporate governance and good reporting. We've seen a lot of development, especially from inflows into our market, and I would say it goes a long way in growing and scaling up businesses and the economy at large in trying to achieve our goals. The aspect of social, when we approach the ESG in broad, we've tried to be as practical and bring this home with efficient strategies around this. We've done, as she mentioned, the Ring the Bell event earlier on in Q1 this year, and one of the initiatives is try to get as many companies to sign up what we call the WEPs. These are Women Empowerment Principles, and just how much in your corporate mandate and strategy are you empowering the girl child? How much of your board and EXCO community, EXCO team is adopting towards empowering the girl child? And we've done a long well, because we know that once you empower or educate a girl, then I'm sure, I may not paraphrase it as it said, but once you educate a girl, I think you change the community or the nation at large. So we've gone to the detail and trying to demonstrate how this can be done, and recognizing people that are rising and being very deliberate about this. But beyond that, and touching broadly about the ESG as a whole, I know Charles earlier joked and said that when people are approaching this, many times it's just about the pictorial, of some in your reports, some pictorial of you picking some rubbish, and maybe doing some charity work. And many times in our reporting, that's going to be considered ESG. And also maybe from a practical interaction, you notice that many people will probably present you, when you bring up the conversation of ESG, how are you managing ESG? They'll bring up their NEMA certificates and ISO certifications to validate that, I'm doing something around this, especially when it comes to the aspect of raising money. I remember in the days, my earlier career, when you're looking at money and they're like, okay, how are you approaching the environment? People quickly bring out the NEMA certificates to quickly get the money. But as Lynn elaborated, there's growing appetite, and the funds available, especially for us as a country, many of our SMEs and large corporations, the big challenge has been in raising capital and scaling up our businesses. But the ESG and how you approach it presents you in a very welcome light from an investment perspective, as she's mentioned in the recently concluded EAFCA, East African Venture Capitalist Association. We've seen a growing appetite for Ugandan businesses, because of course, it's a space that is a very growing. There's so many businesses that are scaling up, but also importantly, there's the aspect of impact funding. So a lot of money is available in impact funding, and impact funding is strictly targeted to how efficiently you're running ESG in your corporate mandate and strategy. And I'll give you some key facts from what we've seen in the numbers, as we've earlier heard that the numbers don't lie. We've seen that at least 85% of chief investment officers across the world are considering ESG performance when they are making their investment decisions. So just to show you how far and important this is growing by the day. And then also secondly, from evaluation perspective, we've seen that any company that has efficient ESG strategies, anyone is willing to pay a premium to have this business on their portfolio. I mean, the likes of UAP will testify to that. And there's also a clear link over the years that there's a very clear link between ESG efforts and financial performance. And last but not least of my stats is this: how do you adopt the ESG strategy is something that raises the question: how do you demonstrate that I'm actually following a clear ESG process and I'm following it in my strategies? So the thing is, we have developed this from a product perspective and trying to walk the talk, and also helping majority of corporate issuers in the country to be able to raise and benefit from this ESG by enhancing our product perspective. We've all recently promoted the green bonds. The green bonds particularly are fixed income investments that are raised usually by governments and other corporations, and they target areas such as clean energy, renewable energy production, transmission, energy efficiency in buildings, sustainable land management, clean transportation, waste recycling, to mention but a few. But then also more practically, as the USE, we are promoting the ESG training for the CFOs and the CEOs, and especially the people that handhold the reporting. And we give the details of how you can incorporate this into your reporting to better your organization success. And these ones usually run on a quarterly basis, and we would really work in conjunction with the FIRE Awards and ICPAU and all the sponsors here to make sure that all the beneficiaries and accountants in the room can be able to approach this with the well-equipped information and trainings. And as a think tank and the promoter of this will support that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Peter. Thank you for sharing with us what the Uganda Securities Exchange is doing in line with ESG. What I've gathered from all our speakers so far is, if you take care of the environment, if you take care of the people around you, these things will, you will reap from them eventually, because it's a two-way street. We draw from the environment, they draw from us. So we need to be very deliberate about ESG. I'm now going to welcome CPA Augustine Tamale, the Chief Finance Officer of Vision Group. Vision Group is the media partner, and I don't have the stats of how many startups and organizations are there in the country. But can you imagine having to reach them via phone call or direct marketing? And you have to reach every one of these organizations. It's nearly impossible. And that is where the mass media comes in handy. We need the adverts in the newspapers. We need the websites and the online platforms. And we are extremely grateful to Vision Group for the generosity in this area for the past 14 years. CPA Tamale, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Nancy. The leadership at the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda, the organizers of the FIRE Awards, the partners, participants, the media, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor for Vision Group to be part of the Financial Reporting Awards. We find this a noble cause because it's important for organizations to be sustainable. It's important for the society to be sustainable. And when one part goes down, the rest will come tumbling. In the 80s, the 1980s, we had building societies collapsing due to governance issues. So people who were saving in order to build houses lost their money. And then people lost hope of using financial institutions. In the 90s, it was accelerated because it was banks that were collapsing. Then in the early 2000s, it is the savings and credit cooperatives that were disappearing with people's savings. But when governance is attended to appropriately, then the people have the confidence to put the money in the financial institutions and it's available for credit, whoever needs to borrow it. In that way, the economy is boosted. Now, when we are doing the financial reporting, we are not just looking at, but a series of activities that you've been undertaking, including your governance. So if you start it from the beginning appropriately, you are simply documenting what you have done right. And that's how society can be sustainable. The main river in Mbarara is almost dry now and dirty, almost dry and dirty. Now, where will that city get water for use? People decided to carry out economic activities around it and probably in it. And that's what we're seeing even this side of the central region and the eastern part of the country. So we need to come to our senses and know that this environment is what sustains us. Every organization should rise up and ensure that the environment is protected. I appreciate the media for the job well done in fighting for the environment. We are seeing change happening. And I believe as we continue in this journey, we will get greater victory. So as organizations, as businesses, let's play our part when we're doing our social responsibility, beyond maternal health and other things that we've been championing, let's champion the environment as well. In that way, we'll benchmark from each other and see that our society is sustainable. You can never continue running a business when the community that you're supposed to supply goods and services is dying away. So let's sustain this community and have that great success. So in these reports, we see that the organizations are getting better in how they are attending to the society needs. In the end, we will reap and prosper all together. For the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda, as Vision Group, we are happy to partner because that's where we draw our experts in financial management from, and we will continue partnering together. So we are not about to go away. We look forward to more and more interactions. May the Lord richly bless you.
Amen, and thank you for that offer of continued partnership. We are grateful, extremely grateful. Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to come to the end of our program. But before we do that, we have a very special session, and I'm going to invite two special ladies to share with us their participation experience in the Fire Awards. And as they come, I'm going to start with Miss Winnie Viola Nasimba she's the Chief Accountant of UAP Old Mutual Insurance Uganda Limited. So let me tell you something about UAP before Winnie comes. So last year, UAP won the Most Improved Report Award. Congratulations. They also were the winners in the insurance category. So they've earned the right to be here today. But just a little bit about the Most Improved Reward, I beg your pardon, the Most Improved Report Award. Ladies and gentlemen, this award is given to an organization that demonstrates the best improvement. Because remember, we said when organizations participate, they're given evaluation, feedback reports. So the organization that demonstrates compliance with that feedback is the one that gets the Most Improved Report Award. And for us, that is what the Fire Awards is about, that continuous improvement and being able to implement evaluators' feedback. Winnie, please talk to us.
Okay, thank you, Nancy.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Winnie Vailana Simba, and I'm the Chief Accountant, UAP Old Mutual Insurance Uganda. I'm going to share my experience on the company basis, but more so on the personal basis. As UAP, we have participated in the Fire Awards, I think, since 2011. But on a personal basis, I have participated in the awards for just 2 times. And on my first entry, that was 2022, I wasn't with UAP, I was with another company called Liberty. But on my first entry, I was the second in the insurance sector. And for me, this gave, before I go on to the company side, but it gave it, like Stephen has said, recognition is key. It motivated us to go again the second time, to get in. But by this time, when I was getting into Fire Awards the second time, I was participating for another company, that is UAP. And guess what? There was improvement. And that's when I say as UAP participated for over 11 years, but this was our first time to win. That was last year. And this was through, I looked at, because I've been in the company for just 1 year, but I looked at the feedback they were getting from ICPAU, from these Fire Awards. I was like, how can we improve this report? I just have an experience. The better I had an experience of 1 year in Fire Awards. I put this feedback into practice and I emerged to be the best in the insurance category, that is UAP insurance. And then also we got the most improved award. And so, but how do you start when you hear integrated reporting and when you hear ESG as an insurance company? The first fear you get, you're like, but how does insurance even apply ESG? You first get scared. You're like, what am I even going to report? And this is where I come back as accountants. We are used to the debit and the credit, and you have audited accounts. Once CPA Stephen signs your financials, that is a great an achievement. But then guess what? We looked around as a company, we realized there was so much information that we had, and that information cannot be disclosed in just the audited financial accounts. We realized that there was so much information. We realized we had so many activities we are doing as a company that we could disclose in the integrated report. So this is when I brought, and how did we start? We started by just submitting audited accounts, by the way, for these Fire Awards. Preachers entry, they call us for entries, we just submit our audited accounts. And we have moved from that to now submitting an integrated report. And that is where I say we really deserved the most improved report last year, because from what we were submitting in the previous years and not submitted in the last year, it was a great improvement. And we looked around the various companies, the people who win the overall excellence awards, Stanbic, the Centenary, what they were doing, and we benchmarked. But through that, when you say ESG, environmental, social, and governance, as a company, like even if you're a small company, like, what am I going to disclose? But when you look around the information you do, the activities you're doing, for me, now that's when I come back on a personal basis. This report has improved my creativity skills. I have moved away from thinking about just audited accounts, but rather now working with various departments. I reached a point I'm now working with corporate governance. I'm like, give me, what are you doing? Give me, write for me a report. What can we include in? Like, it improves your creativity skills as an accountant. You stop thinking, you move away from thinking on the debit and credit alone, but you realize you're disclosing so much information. I go to HR. An example is that, just give me statistics of the women. How many women do we have in a company? And how many men, how many women do we have on the managerial skills? I was like, oh my God, I can use all to write a report. For me, that is one of the skills I've gotten for the last 2 years I've participated. My creativity skills have improved, putting together this information, working with different departments, risk, legal, and as a company, I remember when we won that, perhaps maybe if I move also to another sector, banking, one day, I'll make for any bank, I'll still look forward to win that in that sector as well, but I'm going to talk more on the insurance sector as well. And one of the benefits we've gotten as UAP is that our position in the competition for bids to win clients through that bid competition. For example, the government businesses that go through that procurement process, our position has greatly improved just by placing that award in our information as we are giving to the customers. We tell them, guess what? We were the best in the insurance sector in 2023. It has given us a #1 position to win these businesses. And then also our value creation story has also improved. For example, when we had a board and shareholder engagement this year. So I think one of our colleagues in the corporate guidance was like, what are we going to tell the board members? What are we going to tell the shareholders? I was like, guess what? We have an annual report here. And there's so much information we've disclosed from where we came from and where we are in terms of the social environment, in terms of the in terms of governance, in terms of environment. So when we placed this information to them, they actually appreciated the shareholders because it like all the partners have mentioned about the benefits of integrated reporting. There is so much information. There is on the regulatory compliance. I mean, URA was, when we presented our tax transparency report, it will not be anywhere in the audited accounts, but our shareholders go to see it in the integrated report because there is so much information you can disclose and people read through it. For me, I'm excited for this year's participation, and I look forward to one time win the overall excellence report. It has been dominating more into the banking sector, but we want to pull it away from that side to bring it to the insurance sector as well. And for me, that is my goal this year. I'm also excited on that theme this year as well. Still ESG in it, but we look forward to give a creative report. And I also look forward, I hope I'm not giving tips to my competitors as well, but we look forward to give also a digital report this year. We're going to submit the physical ones, but we're also going to do a digital report. And still, I had forgotten something. And through this 2-time exposure, I think over 3 companies have reached out to us to guide them on how to write an integrated report, on how to participate in the FIRE Awards. And I tell them, you're going to be my competitor, but it's okay. Let me help you out. And yeah, I've brought on board over like 2 companies to also participate this year. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We knew that was a candid testimony. And, you know, when we talk about FIRE Awards, we believe in learning from each other and sharing experiences. And we are happy with the impact that the awards has had on you as a professional and on the organization. Thank you so much. I am now going to invite Miss Sophie Achak. Sophie, you heard, eh? She wants to hear from you. How do they get the gold award? So, you know, yes. So Stanbic Bank has won the gold award 6 times. I don't know how you do it. You're going to tell us 6 gold awards. And that's no mean achievement, Sophie. We are first of all happy that you continue to participate, even after winning. You know, some organizations say after getting gold, they step aside because they don't want to be relegated. But thank you for the continuous participation and continuous excellence. Please share with us your experience.
Thank you very much. Good morning. Acknowledging all our key stakeholders here, the FIRE Awards team, we appreciate you. ICPAU, our partners, CMA, USC, Vision Group, and the media, really. You are the ones who transport this story, plus all those online. We do acknowledge you all. I'm happy today to represent Stanbic. Naturally, this would have been the CFO, but I am one of the stakeholders that are involved in working on the book. For us at Stanbic, it's not just a one-man affair. It's actually the entire organization. So it started as Stanbic Bank in 2011, and now we are 5 different companies actually speaking into the report. The reason why we exist as Stanbic is really to drive Uganda's growth. It's not just a tagline. the key line there is growth. Any company to grow, you need to make sure that you are continually improving. That feeds into one of our values, constantly raising the bar. So you actually mentioned that we keep coming back, even if sometimes we'd have wanted to be number one all the 11 years. But sometimes you're not number one. If you're not number one, what does that mean? Should you give up? You don't want to give up. You want to come back and see what is it that the other person did? What can I do to improve myself? The key thing about ESG, the story is sustainability. We don't want to just be here today. We want to be here 30 years from now. And it's not just an organization that has gone down. No, it remains so strong. So that's why one of our values is actually constantly raising the bar. So best practices, and want to appreciate ICPAU team, Firewords team for the constant feedback that comes through. We actually pay attention to the feedback, which helps us improve our reporting. So like I mentioned, it's actually a cross-section across the entire organization that contributes to this report, led by the finance team, definitely. So they will actually compile all the information that is brought from those different partners to make sure it's a coordinated story across the entire report. Financials are critical. What do financials really tell us? They tell us you're not just telling us a story. There is actually facts that can back up that story. And for anyone to invest in any organization, you want to look at the financials organization. And a key part here is the consistency. So if you're number one once in a particular category and you fall off, you're not helping yourself consistently. Someone needs to know that you've done this consistently. And I want to draw attention to what's happened in the recent past. We know that we're just out of the COVID season and there's been challenges across the globe. So naturally, most organizations, including the government, is looking for funding. I recall last year, or was it early this year? Last year, the permanent secretary of the Treasury went to the US, there was a conference, and he mentioned that funding has dwindled, but most of the funders are looking at green funding. They're willing to participate or get involved in green funding. What does that mean? The theme that Firewords leadership team has picked for the last 6 years is helping Uganda, helping us prepare for this, so that we're not just saying, what is it? What do I report? I liked what he said, that when you just take, as okay, I've done my, I've actually reported on this. No, how do we prepare as a country to ensure that we can actually get this funding consistently, not one shot and they're out? How do we ensure that we consistently get that funding? But I think a big thing for us, what if Uganda is actually the reference country for the continent for green funding? It's at its nascent stages, really, across the globe. Naturally, not across, especially in Africa, naturally, countries like South Africa, Nigeria are way ahead of us, but we can still catch up. We can still catch up. And I think what Firewords team, leadership team is doing is helping the entire nation prepare for this with the financials. So what's the other thing that I want to talk about? Like I said, the key theme is growth. Growth for us is critical in every area, not just growing as Stanbic. There is, so you can shine, you can be the brightest or the most nice looking in your particular area. But if your neighbors are not looking good, then you're wasting time. You're not going to be here for long. You're just as good as the community in which you operate. So ESG is driving that. For us, the growth element is reported in those ESG practices and framework that we've adopted as a company. You'll see that in our report to society. I'm happy to see that we moved from just reporting ESG in our annual report. Yeah, sustainability in our annual report. We now have a report society, and our aim is to continue to grow. We're not saying we've arrived. The point is, how do we keep growing? How do we track our performance over the years? What are the things that are specifically relevant to Uganda? There are certain elements that are not maybe relevant to our country that we want to report to. Why don't I start with the things that are relevant to Uganda? And if I bring it to my specific company, why don't I start with the things that are relevant to Stanbic? And then how do I promote that within the community that I operate as well? A very important point for growth in this financial reporting is partnership. As we have seen, really, here, we have different partners, the media, the standards team, the capital markets vision group, USC, even us who participate. There is a particular saying that says that if you want to go fast, you go alone. But if you want to go far, then you go with people. So the partners can't be taken out. Whether it's an SME, whether it's an individual company, we need each other to grow our nation. We need each other. So the partnerships, of course, that's why we continually participate in the FIRE Awards. There are some days we come when we're threatened. You know what you've done in the report. But what it does, it steers your confidence as you're read as being the best in a certain area or a certain area for improvement. If someone has actually won in a certain area, what do I need to see in that person's report that I can actually work on and get better? But not just reports locally. I think it's important that we acknowledge reports from across the continent and reports across the globe. What is it that we can pick and work it out for Uganda? Many times we adopt practices that are just abstract. But what I like with the FIRE reporting is that the FIRE words is that recognition of areas that are applicable in our specific places, and then grow that. Grow that. Of course, the international standards are the standards, but there are elements in the reporting that we can pick and apply to our specific areas. Finally, ESG. ESG has been a buzzword for the last 6 years. So I think what FIRE Awards team is doing on ICPAU is demystifying what is ESG. You could go on the street and ask someone what is ESG and they'll not be able to explain. When we pay attention to this in our reports and speak about it more, then we begin to demystify. As the chairman said, it's a framework that can be embedded into the practices of the organization. So responsibly is really the summary of what ESG is, and it has been elucidated by each of our panelists. So for us as Stanbic, we'll continue to do our best. Like my colleague said from UAP, there will be different people who come to you for reference. How do I do this report? I think for us as well as Stanbic, the same thing has happened. The beauty of it has even gone to the students in school. What if we start doing with the younger team who are just getting out of school, yeah, away from cramming, political instability, those points that you just have for an exam. How do we help them to appreciate? So for us, it's a beauty that we have in one of our key flagship programs. And our ESG is basically in the space of working with the students, yeah, the national schools, so that we bring it from a younger stage and into the normal practices as they get into business. Last but not least, I just want to say thank you. We'll continue to participate. What you're doing as FIRE Awards team, ICPAU, and all the partners is something that should not stop. Our country is in a growing state. We cannot give up. We cannot lay back. Each of us has to be present. And as Stanbic will continue to drive Uganda's growth, not an abstract statement, means participating with everybody where necessary to ensure that our country is moving forward. Thank you.
So much, Sophie. Thank you, ladies. Those have been very candid testimonies. Thank you. We're really grateful. So I've learned a number of things: continuous growth and improvement, teamwork. We need to work together. You can't make it alone. And very importantly, applicability, especially within the context of Uganda. So thank you so much again. We talk a lot about FIRE Awards, but the people on this side, their stories make more sense when they hear from you, because it's easy for us to say what we say, but when they hear from people who actually participate and get feedback and are impacted by their words, then they can have something to write home about. So thank you so much, ladies. We have come to the near end of our program today. We have just 2 more activities. We're going to allow you, our colleagues from the media, to ask some questions. But before we do that, we need to officially unveil our theme. So we're going to give you a chance to do some photographs. And I'm going to ask the team here to prepare. Joan and Carol, give us just 2 minutes to do a little preparation.
So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Fire Awards Think Room, where it all happens. 2024 official launch of the Fire Awards 2024, promoting excellence in corporate reporting, disclosing ESG performance and progress. Welcome. Thank you, team partners. This is the theme guiding us through this year. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. So ladies and gentlemen, I believe you have some burning questions. Maybe you need clarity. Maybe you need, okay. Okay, before we go, we're going to do just one more photo and then we can go into the Q&A. Please prepare your questions. We're going to ask shortly. Thank you so much. If you have a question, please raise your hand. We have only about 5 minutes because I don't stand between your break tea and the ceremony. So if you have a question, please raise your hand and let us know your name and your media house that you're representing and then ask. No questions, everything is clear. No clarification. You have is your hand up? No? Okay. There seems to be no questions, apparently. Let me give them one more chance. Anyone, you have a question? No, everything was clear. You understood. Okay, that's wonderful. Okay, so if the, yes? Oh, yes, Luganda. Okay, wonderful. Let's give him just a few minutes as we wait for. So, ladies and gentlemen, as Charles here.
Olwaleero bannaaye ffenna tuli wano nga abajulizi nga abategesi ba Fire Awards, Financial Reporting Awards, baggulawo empaka z'omwaka guno ez'omwaka 2024. Empaka zino zitegekebwa ICPAU, Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda, ky'ekitongole ekitwala ba accountants oba ababalirizi b'ebitabo mu ggwanga, nga kiri wamu ne Capital Markets Authority, CMA, ne Uganda Securities Exchange, OPO, ne New Vision oba Vision Group, nga beba bakwanaganya ebyokulaalasa byonna byonna yite media activity ekwanaganya ne empaka zino. Empaka zino zatandikibwa mu mwaka 2011 nga kati tubala katuwa emyaka 14 nga tetuyimiriddeemu, nti ne mu mwaka gwa COVID 2021 era empaka zino zagenda mu maaso. Omwaka guno nkozi abategesi basanyufu okubanga begattiddwako Uganda National Oil Company oba UNOC, naye yalabye nti ddala ekikolebwa abantu bano kirungi ekyokutumbula ebyengeri y'okubaliriramu ebitabo n'okulaalaasa byonna ebyo ebikolebwa amakampuni ge tulimu. Empaka zino omwaka guno zitambulira ku mulamwa ogw'okutumbula ebyokubalirira ebitabo, okulaalaasa ebyo ebikolebwa amakampuni nga naye geesigama ku kutumbula obutonde bw'ensi, okutumbula enkolagana y'abantu, n'engeri amakampuni gye galina okuddukanyizibwamu, giyite ESG, nga balaba engeri amakampuni gye gakozeemu newa gye galuubirira okugenda. Mwenna abafolowinga bina abatulaba abali wano, empaka zino zaategekebwa era zirina emitendera mingi. Tulina amasa mangi kampuni eziri ebweru ze gayinza okwenyigiramu. Oba olina ka bizinesi katono, oba oli small and medium enterprise, oba oli mu banking sector, babanka, oba oli mu insurance, oba oli mu NGO, tewali yenna gwe tutaliza. Yenna ayagala okwenyigira mu mpaka zino asobola okujja n'ateekayo ebiwandiiko bye. Ebiwandiiko ebyo ne beekenneenyezebwa abakugu baffe, ate oluvannyuma ne bakuwa feedback report. Era ng'omuntu we yandisindise omwana ku ssomero nti taamu weggwako, abamuwa ebivudde mu ttaamu eyo n'alaba waawo okussa amaanyi. Ekirala, twaggulawo nga lumu omwezi gwa June, omwezi guno twatandika okufuna reports okuva mu makampuni. Wenjogerera twakafunayo reports nga 5, era nga tugenda kuba tufuna reports zino. Report ey'okuwaayo oli yenna ayagala okwetaba mu mpaka zino gye tuyita annual report oba audited financial statements. Annual report mu bumpimpi kiri nti kampuni omwaka we guggwaako olina okutulaga engeri gy'okozeemu mu mwaka ogwo, ng'otulaga engeri kampuni byonna by'ebeekoze, kangeze ebikwanaganya n'ebyobutonde. Kampuni ezisinga zikola emirimu mingi emirala mu bantu, giddiza abantu, kye tuyita corporate social responsibility, gyenyigira mu mirimu mingi. So mugattagatta ebyo byonna ebiba bikoleddwa mu mwaka, ku kwogatta n'engeri gy'oba okozeemu mu by'embalirira, bwe tubissa wamu ne tuggyamu report. Eyo report neetunuulibwako omukugu gwe tuyita auditor. Omukugu oyo wamala ogitunaana n'agikubako stamp. Eyo report gy'ojja okussaamu, gy'ojja okuwa okuleeta kwa ICPAU, oba okussa ogenda ku lutimbe lwaffe www.icpau.co.ug n'oteekamu report eyo. Ekiseera kijja kutuuka abakugu baffe bagitunuleko bakugambe nti wano wayogera bulungi, wano waaliwo ekibulako, ate ng'ebyo byonna ekirungi bikolebwa nga tolina yadde 10 kyonna ky'otaddemu. Oli ayinza okwebuuza, oli afunirawa okwetaba mu nteekateeka eno? Tuwulidde bannaffe okuva mu Stanbic Bank ne UAP bwe batubuulidde engeri gye baganyuddwamu, naye ekisinga obukulu nti ojja okwetaba mu mpaka zino, ojja kuba ofuna omukisa oli okwekenneenya engeri gy'okolamu ripooti yo, nga naye agenda kwekenneenye nga takusabye yadde n'11. So ng'ate singa obadde wakuleeta mukugu oyo mu kampuni yo kikkolera, ajja kusaba ensimbi buwana. So ogwo gwe mugaso ogusooka. Oli waaba ayeekenneenya ripooti eno, tatunuulira biki kampuni yo byokka byekola, wabula ajja kutunuulira kampuni yo byekola na biki byeteekeddwa okukola n'ebiki ebirala kampuni endala eziri mu ttuluba lyo ze bikola, kye tuyita best practice. So wabeerawo okugeraageranya okwo, ffe kye tusuubira nti kiba kikuyamba ggwe nga eyeetabye mu mpaka zino okufunamu. Ekirala kye nnyinza okugamba nti buli omukolo guno tugukomekereza n'okujaganya n'abo bonna ababa bawangudde oba ababa basukkulumye ku bannaabwe. Waliwo ababa bakoze ripooti nga nsufu, waliwo abakoze ripooti nga esukkuluma ku y'abalala. So nga 6 mu Novemba tubeera n'omukolo gye tuyita Fire Awards Dinner, we tubaaniriza mwenna bannamawulire abeetabye mu mpaka zino nayenna ayagaliza Uganda ebirungi, naddala nga tutambula ku musingi obwerufu opo n'amazima. Neeyanziza neeyanzeege.
So much, CPA Charles Lutimba, for that powerful translation. I believe we are happy and we can now conclude the event. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of our program. I want to thank you all so much for being here. As Vision Group, Uganda Securities Exchange, Capital Markets Authority, and UNOC, who's also a sponsor. Thank you so much. They're not here. And I want to thank our representatives from Stanbic Bank and UAP for being here. And very importantly, our audience online and the media. Thank you for coming. Please amplify this message out there so that we can have more entries this year. If you need more information about the Fire Awards, please log on to the website. We have everything there about how to participate, the deadline, get an entry, and all the details on the Fire Awards website. We have tea, ladies and gentlemen. Please do not leave without taking something. You will be ushered. We will begin with our panelists, and then the rest of us will be ushered as well. So thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Have a good day.